Should I listen to this Paul Joseph Watson audio? Let me just see how demonetized this is going to get my channel. Following audio contains inflammatory and offensive language. Okay, now I'm hearing it. He's so British. That's gonna get my channel. No, no, no. I'm not gonna put that on my editors. You can look at yourself. It's exactly what we read out loud, except he says it in a British way. You read it out loud. Well, I didn't read the slurs. Paul Joseph Watson, the ironically extremely soy-faced bonger YouTuber, just a couple of days ago had his own version of the Richard Spencer leaks, you know? Now, I always feel kind of cucked going over these because if you go over Paul Joseph Watson's content for like 5 minutes, it's very obvious that he's a Nazi. Or at the very least a fascist, you know? It's not exactly subtle. There are probably a lot of like more moderate conservatives that like him and they're just like kind of too stupid or, you know, like brainwashed to pick up on the signs. So like, I don't know who even cares or like who's surprised by this, but far-right YouTuber and former InfoWars editor PJW said he would like Jewish people to be wiped off the face of the earth. Classic. That's a classic one for the Nazi types. In the recording made during a party and shared with... He goes to parties? I'm impressed. To my knowledge, by the way, I don't think that he's tweeted since this article came out. He's only been retweeting other people. Yeah, no, he hasn't tweeted since this article came out. And he normally tweets quite often, I think, as well. Anyway, in the recording made 39-year-old Watson, he's 39? Can be heard saying, I really think you should press the button to wipe Jews off the face of the earth. Hopefully the person he was talking to didn't have that button. The recording was confirmed by 3 secondary sources. Byline Times contacted Watson and his lawyers with numerous requests for comment but received no response. Watson uses a string of racist and homophobic epithets and claims that he is sick of media. I want to make this easier with my editors. You know, they're going to have to bleep me a lot. Media F-slur activists sticking signs up in my face trying to get me to join the gay F-slur Palestinian cause. I don't give a shit about Israel and Palestine. I care about white people. Not sand, N-word, Jew... Begins with a P, ends with an I? No, I'm asking. Oh, right. That one. Yeah, sorry, that's not as much of a slur here in the States. We don't use it, so I don't think of it. P slur, F slur, C slur. Very imaginative here. One secondary source said they had heard Watson make similar comments on other occasions. Really? They didn't just do it the once? Recordings also shared on social media. Despite being part of the alt-right, a movement that has often repeated anti-Semitic conspiracies, I don't know if it's to our benefit to pussyfoot around this. They're just Nazis. Watson has a quote from the Jewish Voice New York on his Twitter profile and has been defended by right-wing Jewish bloggers as not being anti-Semitic. Okay. Jewish Voice New York told Byline Times that it never endorsed Paul Joseph Watson. Then we talk about the alt-right. In a recent video about the French presidential election, Watson used the murder of a Jewish man in Paris as a rhetorical tool to attack President Emmanuel Macron and then the African migrant communities within France. Blah, blah, blah. It really astonishes me how ineffectively people comment on stuff like that. You know, like, they're Nazis, right? You know, it's just Nazi shit. It's funny this would happen right now because Nick Fuëntes has also been going through his own drama storm as of like 2 days ago. In fact, I think it happened on the same day, which is quite the coincidence, you know. Yes, the cum couch, of course. Please, can we cover Nick? Oh. What happened with Fuëntes? Okay, I admit it. I didn't see anything on Zan's stream, I'm afraid. He did cover this stuff, probably in far more detail than me, but I watched this. It's some Nazi YouTuber. I don't know if they're real big, but they were covering some drama. It was like the fall of Nick Fuëntes or whatever. The basic gist of it is this. You're gonna laugh, okay? It turns out that Nick Fuëntes, in private, is a bit of a narcissistic sociopath. I know. They were shocked too. Now, it turns out he's a complete psycho. There was a bunch of funny stuff in there, like him lying about money and legal stuff and like threatening people and like people in his own organization, and acting really gay. Like, they'll say a lot of stuff is gay, but, like, I do think Nick Fuentes is gay. You know, like, I'll join them. I'm of one mind. You know, if they were doing a trial on his homosexuality and the Nazis called me in as an expert witness, you know, I would testify as a homosexual. He's a bit fruity. But anyway, the basic gist of it, he has a bunch of like more competent political types around him, you know, like other Nazi guys, and they do like the political handling and stuff. And he's kind of ostracized and alienated them by acting like a like a bitch. And the most recent thing is apparently his so-called best friend and like the right-hand man of the whole movement or whatever. Nick got really mad because he like kissed a girl or whatever, and Nick like bragged about using a black light on the furniture in his former friend's apartment to see if there were cum stains or something like that. But he burnt like a bunch of bridges. The whole thing was really, really funny. No, like they're all psychotic. It's a marked distinction because Nick Fuentes somehow looks like a psychopath next to the other psychopaths that he surrounds himself with. It's remarkable, genuinely. You know what I mean? It like he really has to distinguish himself to be held in that regard. Also, apparently, his Cozy.tv streaming website, the one Destiny joined, has a viewer multiplier in the background, and he has far fewer viewers than he claims to. He actually boosts them. The site algorithm makes them appear more numerous than they actually are. So, okay, you know. Um, no, it was really funny. The whole thing isn't Cozy a Nazi place? Yeah, it is. He also worships Stalin, apparently. Nick Fuentes, I mean. Which is funny for a variety of reasons, because the other Nazis were like, dude, it's so gay that he worships Stalin and not Hitler. And in my mind, I'm thinking, ideologically, there's no reason why Nick Fuentes wouldn't worship Stalin. Stalin and Hitler were remarkably similar in a bunch of ways. But the other guys there didn't get that because they think of Stalin as a communist, you know? There was no red-brown alliance. There was a brown-brown alliance, okay? It's like shitting brown pants, you know? There was no... Aesthetics aside, it's just funny. It was really fun. I watched it for longer than I care to admit. Yeah, his like Nazi buddy arc, you know, they're like they come off as reasonable next to Fuentes, which is a remarkable thing. He probably saw that pic of young Stalin when he was hot. Oh yeah, apparently, remember how I've always said that Groypers LARP as tradcaths and it's completely for show? Apparently, Nick Fuentes not only like wouldn't go to church and wouldn't like say grace before a meal, but like scoffed at people doing a rosary prayer during one of his events or something. Oh yeah, and he kept trying to get other people to watch the show Euphoria. Listen, if Nick comes out either as a gay or a trans, I don't claim him, okay, but I will say publicly that, you know, he should live his best life. That's all. My personal opinion, you know. Bet he watches Riverdale or some shit too, Lamau. All of the descriptions of him in the background made him sound like a fucking repressor. Seriously. Like, all the descriptions of him made him sound like a schizophrenic, but like depressed that they're not being treated like a girl. I don't know. There's a lot going on there, you know? Because the issue is here, we're not just dealing with repressor boy moding. We're dealing with that and a Nazi and fucking insane. And you think you're the reincarnation of Stalin, you know? This is like trying to accurately diagnose the gendered tendencies of Christine Chandler. You know, Chris Chan. There's just so much. There's just so much going on that it's impossible to accurately identify anything. I just want Nick Fuentes to identify her real self. God, it's stupid. Should I listen to this Paul Joseph Watson audio? It's 37 seconds. Let me mute this stream. Let me just see how demonetized this is going to get my channel. I haven't actually heard it. I've only read it. I'm muting the audio. I can hear it. Following audio contains inflammatory and offensive language. Yep. Okay, now I'm hearing it. He's so British. Yeah, it's exactly what the yeah, that's gonna get my channel. No, no, no. I'm not gonna put that on my editors. You can look at yourself. It's exactly what we read out loud, except he says it in a British way. So instead of saying like "Why the Jews off the earth," he says "What the Jews off the earth." You know, like that. That's basically the yeah. It's that's it. You read it out loud. Well, I didn't read the slurs, so it's more bigoted. Everything is made worse when done in that accent. The linky. You can literally just Google. No, shh, 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 shh. Stop. Um. Hello, Annoyed Gamer. Anyway, fun stuff there, fun stuff. You know, we're seeing a like kind of a pruning of the far right, a significant pruning, which is interesting. And time has shown, time and time again, you know, there's been this all of these people who make an effort to be optically safe, they get peeled off as well. You know, Richard Spencer, it happened with him. Nick Fuentes used to be the optics guy, but now he says the N word every third word. You know, so that's not true anymore because he got banned from everything. So he was like, whatever. And you know, with PJW, it'll happen eventually to John Doyle. John Doyle's also a Nazi, so I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how that pans out. I get the impression John Doyle is a lot smarter and a lot less psychotic than Fuentes is by like multiple degrees. Definitely still a little bit homosexual though. For now, yeah, there's a corrosive influence on your brain. Just a little bit. He's smart. He's definitely smarter, you know. Doyle said he was almost a school shooter. Was almost? Feel like he's still gives off the energy. All right, that's enough. That's enough drama mongering. You know, if you want the full story on the Fuentes stuff, go check out Zan's channel. I'm pretty sure he either has or very shortly will put out a video on it, and he probably went way more in depth because he's closer to the drama community than I am. I don't feel scared of any of these people. Fascists keep kneecapping themselves. They don't make it easy for themselves. That's for sure.